Hello, sports lovers. Welcome to Med Sports TV, Africa's first choice online sports portal. Today, we are privileged to have Michael Amo Bediako, founder of Streetwise Management. Welcome, Michael.
Welcome. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. How has the journey in boxing been like for Michael?
It's been a tough journey. It's not been easy. Trying to promote African boxing and Ghanaian boxing in particular. And, there are a lot of stereotypes out there that think that we can't progress. Sometimes we don't help ourselves, but it has been a tough journey, but we're getting there. And hopefully, with Richard being a world champion, he's the first of many, a former world champion, sorry.
So you have a lot of young fighters in your stable, Duke, Wahab, Abdullah, and so many other fighters. What is the way forward, and what's the plan for Streetwise for those young fighters?
Well, it's patience. You have to patience. You have to plot your course carefully. Some of these boxers will fight more often than others, just simply because of the division they're in. But we have to look at the whole boxing landscape and see where we can place them, and also watch their development. Some of the boxers will develop quicker than others. So it's just a matter of us being patient, us doing our job like we did with Richard, and we'll see how the road maps out in front of us.
Okay. Duke just fought for a world title with Casimero. In his division, there are kind of limited opportunities. When next do we see Duke in the ring?
I'm not quite sure. Obviously, I haven't spoken to Duke, so and I think he's back in the States. So once we get to speak and get to sort out a lot of issues, then we shall be able to see when we can get him back in the ring.
Okay. My next question would have to be with Richard. Richard made an emphatic statement against Marina Jackson with an emphatic KO. Do you think you can push him for a world title in his next fight?
Yeah, it's difficult because of the way Richard won. It's the emphaticness of the way he won. Not a lot of people are putting up their hands to say they want to fight Richard. So, it's a negotiation process, and we need opponents to come to the table. Richard, as you know, is ever ready to fight anybody. But if you don't get a dance partner, it's difficult to make fights unless the sanctioning bodies order eliminators and final eliminators, which they're yet to do. I've just seen that Richard is now number 4 in the WBC. He's number 6 in the WBA. And we're just waiting for the new rankings to come out with the IBF. So once they're out, and we shall see where we go from then.
I personally would love to see him after the emphatic defeat with Marines. I personally would love to see him with Rolly, the guy who Marines fought previously, so that there will be a big statement, because Rolly is, I think, in the mandate, he has a number 1 position in one of the governing bodies. So if he fights Rolly, then I think he beats Rolly, so he becomes the mandatory. Is that fight possible because of PBC?
We will look at all options. Rowley, in fact, is the interim WBA world champion, where Richard is ranked number 6. So on paper, yes, it's a possible fight. But again, it's whether their side want the fight. If they don't want the fight, we can't make the fight. They have to show interest in wanting the fight. We would take the fight in a heartbeat, so we have not got a problem there. But again, it's if they want to take the fight. But it's an interesting fight, and definitely something that we can look to.
Okay. I read about your misgivings about how Richard lost to Robert Easter Jr. Do you think he needs that fight again to make a statement that I personally thought Richard won the fight, because everybody got him with his best shots. Richard did not go down, but Richard came back, fought back, and won the rounds.
Firstly, I thought Richard won the fight. It was a close fight. I wouldn't say it was a robbery, but I thought Richard won the fight. We've moved on a long way since then. Richard has since come back and won a world title, won that same world title that he fought for. Robert Easter Jr. is a fight that, yes, it always interests us, because Richard wants to, level the slate, so to speak. But, it's not in our immediate plans. Our immediate plans is to find a route back for Richard to be a world champion again. So all these kind of fairy tale fights, yeah, they're great, but the most important thing is what the boxer wants, and what he wants is to be a world champion again.
Okay. So our next question would be with regards to today's press conference, which was about the women and children empowerment, which Streetwise Foundation collaborated with the UN Ghana.
Yeah, well, Richard got contacted by Jemima from the UNAC, and it's something that's close to our hearts because we set up the Streetwise Foundation, which Richard is the global ambassador for, in order to put something back into the boxing fraternity, which I think it's clearly lacking in Ghana. It's clearly lacking the support, it's clearly lacking the infrastructure, it's clearly lacking the help that I see when I travel around the world, other nations have got. We just don't seem to be playing on a level playing field in other countries. And so for us, when Jemima came and brought this collaboration to us, it's just another arm to what we do in terms of trying to give back through our successes, which is very, very important, I believe, especially in Ghana, where there is a lack of resources in terms of, boxing for children and the empowerment of women. Of course, we all need to look at that, and we all need to question ourselves and where we sit with that. Women, if it wasn't for women, we wouldn't be here. So we have to respect that, and we have to do as much as we can to raise the profile and to give them the opportunity to play on a level playing field also.
Okay, then that brings talking about lack of infrastructure. You visited the amateur boxers who are going for the Olympic Games. You spoke to them. What are your advice to young boxers?
Again, my advice to young boxers is, first and foremost, you have to ask yourself all the questions. When you get up in the morning, you look in the mirror, you ask yourself all the questions. Before you ask them of anybody else, you ask them of yourself, because you have to be self-motivated, self-disciplined, self-focused if you want to succeed in this sport. And if you don't get the right answers from yourself, you ain't going to get them from anybody else. And there's no shortcuts. It's hard work and dedication. There's no shortcuts. So when you get the opportunity, you have to take it with both hands. Don't leave it to second chance. So always work hard, always dedicate yourself to your craft, listen to your peers, and just be focused.
Okay. What about your views on the states of our gyms and the infrastructure in place for training our boxers?
The gyms haven't changed since I first come to Ghana. That's over a period of 10 years. I haven't seen a lot that's been put back into boxing. And it needs to be done. If you want to compete on a level playing field, it needs to be, from the very top to the bottom of Ghanaian boxing, it needs to be done. And again, we need to look at ourselves and ask ourselves, what are we doing for Ghanaian boxing? There's no point in going away being successful if you're not going to help the others coming up behind you. This is what we've been trying to do with the foundation, and this is what we've been setting out to do by spreading the word of Ghanaian boxing around the world. But when you come home, when we come to Ghana and we see there's just a lack of discipline in terms of being focused in bringing the whole of the boxing fraternity forward. It's here, there and everywhere. There's no togetherness. It's very difficult. It's very difficult. And we need to find a solution. Otherwise, we're not only going to be laughed at in the rest of the world, we're going to be laughed at in Africa. We're supposed to be the bearers of boxing in Africa, Ghana, and far from it.
Speaking, not to mention the name, speaking to a boxer, he disclosed that a lot of young boxers have suffered because they signed a contract in which they signed a paper in which they did not see the full statement. That is with regards to boxing management. There are a lot of underhand dealings. What should the GBA do in order to correct those things?
Again, it's not pointing the finger at any one organisation. We're all culpable, all of us, and we all have to do something to make sure these things don't happen. education is one of the things. If a boxer takes a contract, he has to educate himself with regards to what's in that contract. Don't just sign it. Whether you take it to your mother, your father, this person, a lawyer, whatever, take the contract and make sure you understand what's in it. You know, unfortunately, boxing is littered with stories like this. But it's not our main problem here. Our main problem is the fact that the infrastructure, it just doesn't work. I mean, from top to bottom, it's not working, it's not progressing. You know, fights finishing at 3, 4, 5 in the morning. How are you going to get TV to come on board when you don't start at an allocated time and you finish, you know, early in the morning when other people are rising? You know what I mean? TV are not going to come on board. Corporate bodies are not going to come on board. If we're not serious in a whole package of boxing, it's going to be very difficult to entice corporate bodies to come along. And everybody needs to pull their weight. I'm not going to sit here and point the finger at any individual or any individual organisation. I can only do what I do or do what we do.
Okay, thank you. But before we sign off, do you think there is leadership crisis in the boxing fraternity?
A leadership crisis? I wouldn't say it's a crisis. It's just not working. If it's just not working, if it's not working, like I said, if the shows are not starting on time and they're finishing late, if the people that are finishing the shows late are not sanctioned, if boxers are going out saying certain things publicly and it's not being brought in front of the board and no one's being sanctioned about anything they in terms of the whole aspect of boxing, including managers, including promoters, including the GBA itself, it's like a free-for-all. I don't see anything that's a collective togetherness in terms of bringing the sport from A to B. You know, it's fractioned, it's here, there and everywhere. And when it's like that, you know, how's it going to succeed? I do believe that there's going to be a new GBA in place, president and other board members in a voting system in July, and maybe that will bring about change, but we shall see.
Okay, so what are your last words?
Last words to Ghanaian boxing and to everybody in the sport of Ghanaian boxing. Look, let's try and solve whatever problems there are out there for the greater good of Ghanaian boxing and for the greater good of the children that are trying hard, and they look to us to inspire them. They look to us for their livelihood. So let's try hard to get everything together. You know what I mean? Whatever differences there are, put them out on the table. Let's clear the slate and let's try and bring Ghana boxing to its former glories.
Thank you, Michael Amo Bediako, founder of Streetwise Management, for joining us. It's a big privilege to have you. But before I also end, let me join Streetwise Foundation that we all must help in empowering women, because without women there is no future. The witch camps are still there. Let's help in eliminating them. Women are our tomorrow. Thank you, sports lovers. Kindly subscribe, share, comment, leave a comment. Thank you. Au revoir. Stay positive.